that said there's a new garbage bag law in New York State, and basically it would eliminate plastic bags. So if you go to a grocery store, you have a couple of options now. You cannot get a plastic bag. What you can do is bring your own reusable bag, or you can purchase for a nickel, you can purchase a paper bag. So after I read that, immediately some thoughts came into my mind. One of them was, well, I can see someone bringing some kind of a reusable fabric bag in to buy fish, and then it gets all dirty, and you have to wash it because it stinks. So I was thinking, how would that work? The other issue I saw was that the bags right now are reusable, but not in a way that's obvious. And the way they're reusable is that we use them for garbage pails in the house.
Yep, I use them for that reason. Yeah, I use them for that. But to be honest, I never heard of this law before you mentioned it. I feel like I'm late to the game, so I did a little background, research, looked up on it, and yeah. But I kind of feel like they've been sort of priming us for this for some time now, because I know sometimes I shop at Trader Joe's, and they would ask us, like, paper or plastic. I usually choose paper because it's just easier to manage. You have handles on the paper bags, and I'm guessing that, and I used to figure they're asking because they want you to be environmentally conscious, and I try to be, so I always went with the paper bags. But when I looked up the law, they have some exemptions. They talk about for meat and fish and vegetables. They also have exemptions like for garbage bags. So you'll still be able to get plastic, but they just have a couple of exemptions, But I feel like I'm late to the game, just hearing about this, Then I don't take the train, so,
Well, another thing is I went to the web and actually got the law, so I wanted to read a little bit to know exactly what it's going to do. And it's called New York State Bag Waste Reduction Act. You can Google it yourself if you like. And there were exemptions. One good news is that if you buy fruits or vegetables, so if you go to your fruit stand, you can still get plastic bags. Uncooked meat, fish, poultry is another place where you could get a bag. So I feel now like, yeah, okay, I don't have to really, maybe I don't have to buy those bags for my pails, garbage pails in each room in my house.
So you could go to my house because we hoard them. And we hoard those bags. We must have like a closet full of those plastic bags. And you're right, that's what we use them for.
What type of plastic bags?
The ones the grocery bags that you get from the store.
You order those?
No, you hoard them. Hoard them. Like when you get them,
for
just
garbage, yeah.
Yeah, just for garbage. You line the trash bin, or if I need to carry my lunch or something.
So you don't reuse the...
I reuse them.
You reuse them?
Yeah. If you need them, we got them.
Have a whole bag, a whole bunch here.
Yep.
So then what I found interesting is also how they define the reusable bag. So it doesn't matter how thick the plastic is. That is, according to this new law, it's not a reusable material by itself. So in order to be reusable, it has to be made of some kind of cloth, or it has to have handles.
So now, what if you had a plastic bag with handles?
Yeah, that would qualify. Yeah, handles, yes, that would qualify.
Okay.
And then there is another thing that I liked about this law is that 40% of the money made from the paper bag nickel sales will go to a fund that provides free reusable bags to low-income people.
What was that?
Um, So you go to a store, they can't, you buy groceries that don't qualify for a bag,
Okay.
for a plastic bag. So you opt for buying a paper bag for a nickel.
Okay.
Now, 40% of that money
Uh-huh.
goes to a special fund that they use to provide reusable bags to low-income folks
Uh-huh.
in New York State.
My question would be, how is this program managed? Like, how do they determine who that low-income person is, and how do they go about getting those bags? I don't know.
And then, I mean, what is it? This is the creation of, I mean, who's going to dispense these bags to people? How is it going to be dispensed? How is it going to be held and accounted for? And it
Yeah,
just sounds
well,
like another
recipe
bureaucracy.
for-
Yeah, a recipe for
for,
another bureaucracy and mismanagement of funds.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't equate to what happened in Puerto Rico with all these things that never got delivered.
Well, that's
During the hurricane.
another
Yeah,
topic
that's-
and a different, higher level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Higher
level.
But-
We had a discussion earlier today about level. So
The
that-
word level,
I'm shocked
right?
I'm saying that word, right? But it's a different
In the
conversation.
context.
There are always issues with bureaucracies and
Absolutely.
distributing goods to
But
people.
do we applaud the attempt to make
But
that?
I think it's a nice idea because if they can't afford to buy whatever a $10 bag, if they're really living from check to check, and
I'm all
that's
for
a good
that.
thing.
I'm all for
Yeah.
it. I'm just throwing a question out there about the management of a program like that. Like, who determines what? Who determines who the low-income person is? Do you go with ID? Is it going to be based on like people who could like maybe food stamps or something like that, or like how would they make the
Right.
determination? Or maybe, you know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
sure. I'm sure.
sure they
there-
worked it out, right?
Well, I don't know. I'm sure there's a way. Whether or not they work it out, I'm the skeptic. I mean, skeptical about the
We know
people
you're- we know
implementing
you're skeptical.
implementing our policies and the policies that are being, put out there. I think. Like you were sort of referring, I applaud the effort, but I think it's misguided. It's going to be mismanaged based off of previous misguided policies, and I'm totally
Well,
pessimistic about.
you know what? Soon
This.
after the implementation of the law, I'm sure they're going to get statistics on how much plastic comes out of garbage.
Well, they already have statistics.
But that's before they implemented the new law.
That you're saying,
Yeah.
see what the of
Yeah,
course.
see if it's
I think
effective.
they predicted based on other states. Like they
Right.
said in California, the number of bags
Right.
were cut in half.
Right.
So they're predicting equivalent numbers for
Right,
New
but
York
this is
State.
part of a larger picture. This is trying to eliminate, what is it, the
Landfills?
footprint, plastic and the footprint, and the fact that it's difficult, if somewhat impossible, to dispose of plastic bags, and how it's hurting our ecosystem. So New York State is just a small part of how that needs to be addressed. And like I said, I applaud the thought that's being put into it. I don't see this catching. I do see it being corrupted.
When you say catching, you mean like other states or
Other
just-
states, and even if other states, even every single state in the United States, the United States isn't the largest producer of plastic waste. If you look at that, I mean, there are other countries involved, so we can, the whole country could, reduce its carbon footprint or whatever you want to call it. And this is just one of the methods, but it's still just a fraction, a small fraction of the waste that's being produced by other countries. Plastic being produced by other countries.
We're
So-
talking
so what
about
do we
water
do?
pollution. They wind up in the sea,
Mhm.
or lakes and rivers.
Right.
And ultimately in us, because we eat
Right.
but so let's
So,
just
like
say,
I said, even if this whole country does it, is that going to eliminate the plastic waste in the waters, or especially when we are not the number one producer?
It's not going to eliminate it, of course. However, the question would be, so what do we do?
I
Do we
think
still do the program, or do we just say, you know what we do is not going to matter, later for the program? Like, what do we do?
Again, that's like I said, I applaud the effort. I have my skepticism now. That addresses my skepticism in our current, politicians and their practices. And I mean, we have politicians who are losing millions of dollars for misguided, programs. I mean, you want 5 cents? Well, how much 5 cents can you take out of over $800 million?
Yep.
You know, five
We got-
five
we-
goes 5.5 goes into
Well-
800 plus million. How many times?
Well,
So
here's the thing: we're about to find out.
yeah. Either way,
We're
we
about
have
to
no,
find out
we have
because
no
it's going
choice.
down. It's going
That's it.
down.
Well, but I can. This is my fear about that, about having to find out. Look, there's already a cost in these policies not finding out. New York City people are moving out of New York City in droves. The number of businesses, people opening and keeping their businesses is reducing. It's being reduced. This is ultimately going to affect the pockets of the average person. And to me, in some ways, this might be
The straw that broke the camel's back.
just
It's like a tax, like
you
a
know,
poor tax.
It is a tax.
like
yeah.
I said, this is well intentioned, but maybe creating the exact thing that they're trying to, sort of prevent. Sort of like that the class where you have the people that can afford bags. Hey, so it's not a problem. It's a drop in the bucket. And then you have to, for the people that can't afford it, well, they got to rely on government and government programs to get bags or something like that. You're creating a larger rift between the classes. It's like, I think it's having the opposite. It'll have the opposite effect.
I guess if you look at it from that socio-political position, but I'll take it back to the ecological footprint,
Mhm.
right? The damage to the ecosystem, the environment,
Right.
and all of that. I mean, it's a laudable program. They're trying to make an effort to do it, but that other part of it, which like who determines what, who manages the program,
Right.
those are things that I want to look at. But that being said, it's going down. The law is implemented
Either way,
in
yeah.
March, and we could reconvene about a couple of weeks after.
Yeah. Well, I think the effects will take more, but like I said, the effects is already happening. People are leaving places like New York, California, in droves, and as far as ecologically, we're a drop in the bucket. I mean, and I'm being, that's hyperbolic.
By the way,
It's significant. It's not significant enough to make a difference.
By the way, can I borrow a few plastic bags?